Alright, it's time for another week in the League of National Football. That's the National Football League. Again, crazy week 4. I don't know what's up with this league this year. There's no way to predict it really. My record still is bad. The week was felt a bit better than before, but I'm still making too many mistakes. And there's too many surprising results, for one. And I'll get to those when I get to those, but all I can say is let's do better in week 5. Again, I'm kind of confident about this week, but watch me go 7-8 again. So first we got the Colts and the Patriots. Now, I picked the Patriots over I picked the Dolphins actually over the Patriots last week because they were undefeated and they went into New England and just got slaughtered. Like, that was Japanese level of dolphin hunting, and the Patriots are going to beat the Colts as well. The Colts are coming off of a disappointing game against the Houston Texans where they had it for the most part and they lost in overtime to a field goal, which wasn't necessary at all. But I'm going to pick the Patriots now. It seems they picked up the pace they have to as well to keep up in the division, which they still want to win. And they're 2-2 now. They're going to add another win against the Indianapolis Colts and stay on track. Titans and the Buffalo Bills. Now, I'm not really sure what to expect of the Bills right now. One week they walk into Minnesota and blow them out, and then against the Packers they go back to being the Bills and they score 0 points and get shot out by Aaron Rodgers. And mind you that the Packers offense wasn't playing all that well in general, but it wasn't that hard apparently. So I'm picking the Titans to defeat the Buffalo Bills. Titans had a big game last week, and I think they're going to come off positive off of that, and they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills. Falcons and the Steelers. Steelers still not looking too good. I mean, Le'Veon Bell will probably not play for them again. I don't see it, honestly. One thing that you can rely on is that the Falcons are going to put up a lot of points on the board. Now, I know they lost to the Bengals, which was unnecessary. I think Matt Ryan just set another record of being historically good and still losing. I think he's the first quarterback to lose 2 games in a row where he had 300 plus pass yards and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and still lose anyway. I guess that's on the defense a little bit as well, but it was a crazy game against Cincinnati. Bengals came out on top. Falcons still over the Steelers. Broncos and the Jets. Now I'm gonna go and actually pick the Jets here because sometimes you need to trust your gut, and there's so many surprises, so many upsets, and I know that Sam Darnold is still learning. I know we can't expect him to be the greatest right away. I know he's going to be great in the future, but right now it's his rookie year. It's his 5th start as a rookie. But he already shown us what he can do if he plays like we know that Sam Darnold can play. And I'm going to pick him to lead the Jets over the Broncos. Get him some fuel for the coming season. Jaguars and the Chiefs. This is going to be a really good game. This is going to be a really good game. Great offense in the Chiefs. Great defense in the Jaguars. I'm going to say the Chiefs win it because of, well, one, the quarterback situation. Patrick Mahomes is just better than Blake Bortles. And the Kansas City Chiefs, with that offense, they'll put up 30, 35 points on anyone. I'm not sure if the Jaguars can do it. Blake Bortles is mediocre. He's okay. He's not bad, but he's not great. And Leonard Fournette he's been banged up more than anything else over the last few weeks, so I doubt that the Jaguars will have the firepower to hold up with the Chiefs in that one. So Chiefs, I'm picking over the Jags. Packers and the Lions. This is known for being a crazy game most of the time, but I still think the Packers will have Matthew Stafford's number. I think Aaron Rodgers is just too good, and I'm picking the Packers to beat the Lions. They're looking to, at some point it's going to be the Bears to actually keep up with in that division. And the Packers are feeling it right now, so they're going to beat the Lions. Ravens and the Browns. Now, I know that the Browns are apparently competitive. They lost a nail-biter against the Raiders, which they had no business really losing. They were, in my opinion, better for the most part. But John Gruden got a hugely important win in overtime. Baker Mayfield played alright. He had some interceptions, not all of which were his fault. But he's playing alright as a starter. He's probably a better starter than Tyrod Taylor for the Browns now. So I'm cool with him playing. And I'm still picking the Ravens, though, to beat the Browns. I think they're just more ready. Their defense is still really, really good. They have Joe Flacco, who's still really, really good. And the Ravens want to win the division. The Steelers are slacking off this year. The Bengals are apparently more towards the middle of the league. So the Ravens are still really feeling this, and they're going to beat the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a routine win. Giants and the Panthers. I'll pick the Panthers over the Giants. The Giants' offense just doesn't seem to really get in the rhythm that we expected them to. Saquon Barkley is playing well. He's playing really, really well. But Eli Manning isn't getting the ball out as much as he would like to Odell and to Evan Ingram. And so I'm going to say that the Giants are going to make it. Cam Newton and the Panthers, they're coming off a bye week. They're going to be well rested, and they're still looking at a really tough NFC South, in which they will need every win that they can get out of the division. And they're going to start with the Giants at home, and the Panthers are going to win it. Dolphins and the Bengals. Somewhat counterintuitively, I'm going to pick the Dolphins in this one, even though the trend doesn't really reflect that. Bengals just beat the Falcons, which is huge. And the Dolphins, again, they got killed in New England. This is a 50-50 game. It's one of those games where everything can happen. Joe Mixon, I think, is still inactive for the Bengals, which would give the Dolphins the advantage in the running game. And the Dolphins' defense is low-key underrated. I mean, they're top 5 in the league. The defense is really, really good, even with William Hayes being out. They got Cameron Wake, who's still a great pass rusher. Their secondary is underrated, and their linebackers are also really, really good. So, Dolphins are going to hold off the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're going to get another win, stay competitive in that division. Raiders and the Chargers. Chargers are going to take it. I mean, the Raiders did win. Kudos to them. They pulled one out against the Cleveland Browns. The Chargers seem just quality-wise stronger in almost every position. They're probably better at quarterback. They're better in the running game. And their defense is a lot better than the Oakland Raiders defense, and they're going to win it. Now, the Cardinals and the 49ers. NFC West battle. 49ers looked a lot better than I originally thought they would. I thought they would get blown out by the Chargers, but they hung in there. They could have won that game too. They lost 29-27. And I knew CJ Beathard was going to play well. He played really good. And even with him in at quarterback, the biggest problem and what ultimately lost the game was still a receiving mistake. That huge interception off of a drop pass, basically in the red zone for the Niners, was the neck breaker that killed them. So Beathard, apparently they're still competitive. They might as well have beaten the Chargers. They are going to beat the Cardinals, because the Cardinals, even though Josh Rosen put some new life into that team, the 49ers are still a better team than the Cardinals. I still don't personally believe that they're going to make the playoffs this year without Jimmy. I mean, 2 wins over the Cardinals, 2 wins over the Seahawks would put them on a good track, and they've left the hardest part of their schedule behind them now. They had the Vikings, they had the Lions, they have now had the Chargers. They played the only good team so far, and from now on they have one of the easiest schedules for the rest of this year, so look for them to collect some more wins with Beathard. 49ers over the Cardinals. Vikings and the Eagles. Tough one, really quality game. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to win it. Carson Wentz is back. I realize that for the Eagles, they're not as dominant right now as they have looked last year. And the Vikings defense also definitely slacked off from last year, but they still have the potential to be great. They upgraded at quarterback. Kirk Cousins is doing a really good job. He's doing a better job than people expected him to do. And that's all he needs to do. I mean, they were not that far away from making it to the Super Bowl last year with Case Keenum at quarterback. And Kirk Cousins is better than that. I'm going to say the Vikings are going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz will probably need another week or two, a little bit practice, shake off that rust to get into playoff form. Vikings will take advantage of it. Rams and the Seahawks, another NFC West game, and the Rams are going to win it. Even when the Seahawks were great and the Rams were bad, the Rams were still the one team that found a way to always to kind of always beat the Seahawks as underdogs, and now they're a lot better. Earl Thomas just went down with a broken leg. That's the last member of the Legion of Boom that's remaining, and Seattle's defense is officially over with that. They had a lot of chances to trade him too. He didn't want to play in Seattle. He wanted to be traded, and I don't know if you've seen it, but when he got carted off with his broken leg, he was flipping off his own sideline. Like, his coach and his fellow players are not good at all. I doubt he's gonna play again for the Seahawks at least, and that team is not looking good right now. They just managed one over the Cardinals, and the Rams are just a whole nother class. They're gonna beat the Seahawks easily in Seattle. Cowboys and the Texans. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys, actually. They won it last week, which was good for them. That was important. Still don't like Dak Prescott as much as I do Deshaun Watson. I think they had Cole Beasley hurt during the game, but then he came back, so I'm assuming he's alright. And Texans, they did win, albeit in overtime, albeit over the Colts, and in a dramatic fashion. I think the Cowboys are a bit more ready for this one, and they're probably going to take it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans did it, though. This is a bounce-back game, and if they want to gain some steam, this is a good opportunity to defeat the Cowboys and make it happen. And lastly, we have the Redskins and the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to pick the New Orleans Saints. They are still one of the best offenses in the league. Alvin Kamara, I've mentioned him before. I've had my own video on Kamara. He's amazing. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in the last game. He's making plays everywhere, and Drew Brees is fantastic. I don't see the Saints scoring less than 30 points on almost everyone, but especially the Redskins. Redskins' defensive line is pretty good, but the Saints are they're in a higher class. They're gonna need the wins, like I said, just like the Falcons do, just like the Panthers do, out of the division. And they're gonna start by beating the Washington Redskins, who are by no means bad, and they still might have a shot at the playoffs. Because I don't think the Cowboys will, and I don't think the Giants will. So they have a spot for that second space in their division. But they're not going to beat the New Orleans Saints. Got the Bears and the Buccaneers on a bye week. Who actually faced up against each other last week. And Mitchell Trubisky, by the way, had an amazing game. They're not playing, but I'm pointing it out anyway. Mitch Trubisky played fantastic. It was a career day. And the Buccaneers, they crumbled. I mean, first 2 weeks, they looked amazing, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was balling all over the floor. Now, Game 3 was kind of meh, and Game 4, he played kind of bad, and he got replaced. They pulled him out, and they brought Jameis Winston back in. I'm assuming they're going to have Jameis start now. There's really not a justification to keep him off any longer. It's not like he played fantastic, by the way, in Week 4. It's not like he had any chance of coming back, either. They were down by over 30 points. But yeah, apparently the Buccaneers aren't quite the hype that we thought they were going to be. In the beginning, it was classic Chiefs, as the Chiefs have done the years prior. Buccaneers don't look too good. But they can definitely use the bye week to figure out their stuff, see how they're going to proceed at quarterback. And the Bears are going to have a good week. I mean, their quarterback just had a crazy coming out party, and they have Khalil Mack. And fun fact, I think I read this, Khalil Mack is the first player to record a sack and a forced fumble in 4 games straight since, I think, Robert Mathis did it in 2006 or something. So you gotta wonder what the Raiders are thinking right now after trading him to Chicago. He's transformed that defense, and they're making plays all over. They're all of a sudden a top 10 defense, and the Bears are looking good in their division. I'm really curious to see them taking on the Packers next time. So thank you for watching the prediction video for Week 5. If you enjoyed it, then leave me a thumbs up on the video, and please discuss your own opinions in the comments. Do you disagree with me? On what and why? How dare you? Let me know what you think, and subscribe to Beyond Football. As I already mentioned, I have some individual videos on people like Sam Darnold, Alvin Kamara, and Jimmy Garoppolo as well. If you want to, you can go check those out. There's links in the description, there's info cards, so if you've got some time, go do that. And I'm going to see you in the next one.